Okay, let's do this. Take two. Yeah, okay. First, I am James Edward Radji IV, owner and publisher of Lamentations of the Flame Princess. And this video is going to be about what we'll be doing with this YouTube channel, why we're doing it, and summary and statement about the state of the company today. This isn't a bit. This isn't scripted, and I've got a teleprompter that's on the way, but it won't be here for a couple more weeks. So think of this as a long, rambly podcast that you'll just all be listening to in the background of whatever the hell else you're doing. Okay. Oh God, that looks good on camera. I was just doing it to get it out of my phone. Anyway, that's what you're in for the next little while. The first take of this was 50 minutes long. Let's see if I can keep this one down to 30, but I don't like my chances because I got lots to say. Okay, first of all, what is Lamentations of the Flame Princess? It's a tabletop role-playing game. Weird horror, weird fantasy, weird in general, with a historical bent to it. Some of the weirdness and some of the horror isn't supernatural. There's a couple things, and probably more on the way, where it's more historical fiction in a role-playing sense, but with a horrific twist. Really twists the knife, knowing that it's not some supernatural creature from planet Dimension X, but just people. It's always just people. And I like to tell people it's the mind-bending and merciless role-playing game, because you need some tagline. Somebody's passing by at a convention. Blur! Well, what's that? Blur! You need a short, concise blur, even if it's superficial, mind-bending, and merciless. What does that mean? Well, it means we're very much influenced by, underground heavy metal, doom metal, death metal, black metal, underground, independent and grindhouse style cinema. We had a version of the rules called the Grindhouse Edition, and we've just kept up that aesthetic. But I've found that most people are ignorant and have horrible taste. So when I start droning on about, doom metal and this and avant-garde, Arcturus, and they don't understand what I'm talking about music-wise. And somehow, some way, there's a lot of people not into metal that get into LotFP. So I've recently come up with a genius way of describing the company in film terms, because everybody likes movies, right? Right? So I say that Lamentations of the Flame Princess is like a combination of Troma and Blumhouse and A24. Because Troma, that's the weird, perverted, sick shit that you think, what's wrong with these people? This is so juvenile. Jesus Christ. How old are the people doing this? Don't they ever grow up? No. If we wanted to grow up, we wouldn't be doing this. And then there's, I even had Lloyd Kaufman from Troma. I had him do a cameo for us a couple months ago. That should be on this channel. So that's part of what we do, and that'll always be part of what we do, where you just open the book and it's like, is that legal? Then there's Blumhouse. Those are the people that throw everything against the wall to see what sticks. And, they did, I think, the Insidious, they did Oculus. Oculus was a good one. Paranormal Activity movies. Lots of... But then they got stuff like Truth or Dare. You go to see a Blumhouse movie, you're... Well, sometimes you're going to see something excellent like Oculus. Sometimes you're going to see a horror by numbers Ouija. Sometimes you'll get something way out in left field from what you're expecting, like a Whiplash or a Black Klansman. And I think that all fits LOTFP well. We work with different authors, and we work with their visions. That, yeah, molded to fit into LOTFP generally, but the flavors will be wildly different author to author because we want their voice to come out. And depending on your taste, you're going to think, oh, what is this shit? Or you're going to think, oh, this is really cool. Because the house style is just a sheen that goes over the individual author's, thoughts and preferences and vision. So, yeah, I don't know what's... And then the A24 stuff. Sometimes we get conceptual. Sometimes it's just out there, or we get something, The Witch and The Lighthouse are touch points people often, more The Witch because of the time period. But, we directly parodied Midsummer with Midwinter, so maybe that one's not a good example for high concept, but you know what I mean. We've done things like Red and Pleasant Land and Veins of the Earth. I think the Book of Antithesis recently fits under that, which are arty-farty genre stuff. So we run everything. You don't know what you're getting. If you buy a Lamentations of the Flame Princess book blind, you don't know what you're getting. Which is good, because if we were just pumping out just all of the same shit, what good does that do anybody? So that's what Lamentations of the Flame Princess is. Mind-bending and merciless. If you just need the headline. And rambly, I really can't be concise if you want it to be not the headline version. So, we started in 2009, so we've been at this just about 13 years. And from the beginning, 2009 until 2019, it was just growth, 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 growth. We would get name-checked by people in charge of the biggest companies in the industry. I got to go on stage many times at Gen Con to accept awards for things I've published, but never things I've written, you motherfuckers. So, yeah, life was pretty good. I was actually, from publishing role-playing, making something that... I know you don't care about this, how I live, but I was approaching something resembling a middle-class income from publishing role-playing. Doing the weird shit we did, things were going very well for 10 years. Amazing. Then at the beginning of 2019, everything kind of went shit-shaped. Our best-selling author had some allegations against him, and, well, how do I say this? My response, and therefore the response of the company, not really much of a difference there. My studio is in my office, which is also in my warehouse, which is also the shipping company, which is also my living room, so... to give you an idea of how little separation there is between me and the company, I declare a 60% home office credit on my taxes, and that's not lying. So I basically live in my office. I don't work out of my house, apartment. So my response to this thing that happened... let's just say, I want to put it neutrally, it was not to the greater community's liking. And when this became obvious, I doubled down. I was difficult, antagonistic towards the community, I guess you could say. And the result of that is Lamentations of the Flame Princess sales head got chopped off. 33% drop instantly. And that's after I had, hired some people on, right after I'd taken, the same week that shit happened, I'd taken some rather large business loans because I was wanting to expand. And I was in an expansion mode, and everything shrunk. And I do have to say, though, and this is important for the entire Lamentations framework and mindset, that even acknowledging that the way I did things in 2019 might not have been the best and the wisest, it was honest. And I stand by all of it. I don't regret it at all. The fact that I couldn't read the room, the fact that I'm out of step with the greater industry and community, it's... fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck you. I mean... let me give you a few examples of how little I care about solidarity and conformity. Politics has been a real big thing the past few years. What political side is this publisher on? Or what has this author said about this issue? Well, last election that I actually voted in was the U.S. presidential election. 2004, I was living in Florida at the time. So this was the next election after the big Bush-Gore crap. And so I sat there at the ballot box thinking, okay, what do I do with this? And I voted my conscience, which, as it turned out, my conscience agreed with 0.32% of the voting population in the United States. That's how politically connected I am to everyone. That's about right. So the fact that, the idea that I'm going to feel guilty for thinking differently or having opinions which don't match, and I see social issues differently, yes, I do. I would think that would be a minimum requirement to be somebody in a creative industry, but, I guess going along with the crowd is actually good business sense, but I think that's horrible for a creative studio. And I'll give you a couple more examples. I remember it was the day of or the day before the 2020 U.S. presidential election. So many people in the industry, and definitely a lot of the customers, the audience for it, it was very, you gotta vote this way, think about your vote, this is important, this is good versus evil, and I just said, whoever you vote for today, or if you don't vote at all, you're still welcome as LOTFP customers. Because your politics and your belief and your vote are none of our fucking business. And I knew that would wind certain people up, and I enjoy winding certain people up. The people that would think that is a statement beyond the pale, I have no wish to make those people happy, and I have no illusions that I ever could. As far as who we work with these days, just in the past year, I have published, writers. One is a conservative believing Christian. Another is a Marxist who says he's a magician. I am not either of those things at all. I might even be further away from each of them as they are from each other. And then everyone else I work with is probably, I know some people have different weirdnesses somewhere between that. And there's even a few normal people I work with. I don't know how the fuck they got in the door. You know, maybe we do need to change our screening policies to have less of them around. But this is not a conflict for me. You know, everyone gets to work on their project. And their beliefs, I'm sure, come through. And so, but the fact that I've got different people with different philosophies, even conflicting philosophies, working on the different projects, is all to the good. Because again, Lamentations of the Flame Princess, even though there's a lot of me in it, it's their name on the byline, it's their project, it should be what they want to put out into the world. And it's my job not to hammer out their eccentricities, but to make sure they are preserved within the greater framework of the game. Yeah, so I don't give a fuck about a conformity of the community. I don't give a fuck about real world concerns about politics and morality, really, when it comes to doing the Lamentations thing. Because role-playing, both on the player level and on the producer level, should be largely about escaping from the everyday real-world concerns. That's the entire point. There's no reason to do this otherwise. And if I was going to do that, you know, if I was going to take on the burdens of the real world in my work, then I would do anything else than this. The entire point of this is I fucking hate the real world. It's awful. I have to deal enough with the real world as it is. I've got to deal with printing costs and international shipping and taxes and all this shit that you can't get away from, that I can't get away from. And I'm not going to invite any more in than I have to. And if other people insist that I have to deal with this real world thing that's really important to them, it's like, no, you deal with that. I deal with the things I want to. You deal with the things you want to. And that's that. So, given that attitude, and how I could give a shit what the consensus community beliefs are about any specific thing, there is the problem of what to do about this 1/3 of LOTFP revenue, and roughly, I would think, also fan base, that just disappeared. Because even the ones, even the people that are still buying, a lot of them have just gotten a lot quieter. Because LOTFP went from this weird, crazy thing, corner that people generally liked, to, oh, they're actually freaks. So we got shoved over into the corner, had the plastic sheet put over us and a blanket, and try to forget about us. And there's a lot of places that used to review us that won't review us anymore. Talking about us is banned on certain message boards, and I forget where it was. I don't know if it's someplace on Reddit or a Facebook group. My name is put on the same moderator alert list as Adolf Hitler. You know, that's how ridiculous this shit has gotten. So, I've got this company that I think we're doing real good work. I think ever since the thing happened, I think we have maintained quality. I think the books we've released, 2019, 2020, 2021, and now 2022, I would put the average quality of these books against the average quality of any other time in Lamentations of the Flame Princess history. And this is an important point, because if I'm wrong about that, then everything else I'm saying doesn't matter at all. That's it. If I'm delusional and biased beyond all reason about the work I'm producing, then all of the effort to expand and get new people and show people how good it is won't work, because if the work's not good, people will see that. But I have full confidence in the work we've been doing. I mean, No Rest for the Wicked, excellent. Fermentum, excellent. The Book of Antithesis, well, for a more select audience, but if you're that audience, fucking excellent. Earth Incubation Crisis, Green Messiah, Terror in the Streets. Now everyone knows stuff I didn't name will get offended, but I'm trying to keep this video to under 6 hours. Sorry. Yeah, this shit's as good as anything we've ever done, and as good as, well, I assume as good as anything anyone's doing, but when I sort of got cut out of polite role-playing society, I sort of let them do their thing. I haven't been keeping up on the industry. I haven't kept up on what's going on. We've been just doing our thing. Which, you know, I was hoping if I just kept my head down and produced quality content, then the problems of 2019 would get better. And they haven't. Things are going fine. I still got a couple people on salary. I still pay my rent doing role-playing, which is fucking amazing on its own. And if, well, I would say if I was going to say if I had any sense, I would be satisfied enough with that. But not really, because the people I pay on salary, past couple of years, they've both made more off this business than I have. And I remember what was, and I remember why it was. You know, how popular we were, how much things sold. And seeing as the level of quality we still maintained, the only thing preventing reaching back up to those old levels of popularity is the ability to reach the people without the scene mediation. Because I'm not going to do anything to make the role-playing scene, the big, bad, massive, imaginary straw man conformist people keeping us down. Yeah, I need to do an end run around them, since I'm, you know, just keeping my head down and doing good work is not penetrating back to them. So there's got to be a way to reach the people who would enjoy what we do. And I do believe a great many people would enjoy what we do, because I see similar flavored things in other media going nuts. And this is the real ball buster. At the time during the COVID era where we've contracted, I've been hearing that so many other companies have exploded. So it's like, okay. Keeping our head down and just doing the work and letting it speak for itself isn't working. And just for the sake of a little bit of my creature comforts, I'm almost 50 fucking years old, so struggling in the room amongst the pile of books and a studio is, you know, I've got retirement to think about. But there's also the fact that since pretty much all of the writers that I work with work on royalties, being able to sell more makes them more money. And that's the whole point of the royalties thing, that people can make shitloads of money if a book does well. And I want all the books to do well. Not just because the money goes into my pockets, because most of what I spend it on anyway is financing the next fucking thing. Because that's what I love to do. I get a great idea. I want to throw money at this. So it's, you know, maybe a little bit of personal greed, but the fact that other people would greatly profit off of the expansion, that's awesome. Being able to say, I helped somebody do better in their life. I brought their idea to life, and their life materially benefited from that. That's an awesome fucking thing to be able to say. Not that I'm ripping them off, not that I'm exploiting them, but there was a mutual creative cooperation that did better for everyone. So, not to mention, even if you don't care about the financials behind this, the more successful Lamentations of the Flame Princess is, the easier it is for you to find Lamentations of the Flame Princess players. The easier it is for you to be able to talk about the cool Lamentations things in spaces without people just going, ew, you like them. So, there are a lot of reasons to want to open things back up. And since, well, I guess it's pretty obvious I'm not going to make any effort to get back in with the community, what then? Conventions are opening back up, so I'm going to be able to be in front of the people, be at Gen Con this year, passing out the flyers. That should be great fun. And be able to present to people. But I talk to people, some of whom don't want me to name drop them, that they're talking to me still. But, and I've gotten suggestions about how to keep things moving, how to be able to more easily finance the next thing, how to not panic. It's like, are the bills going to be paid this month? And, I haven't liked the suggestions. One suggestion was, that I've heard from a few people, start a Patreon. People will give you money because the people that like Lamentations of the Flame Princess really like Lamentations of the Flame Princess. And, well, no. Not, because that means I'd have to produce more things for the Patreon people. And me and my crew, just from results, as embarrassing as this is to say out loud to the world, we're not the most conscientious group of people. We all work slow, me slowest of all, and schedules and deadlines, we suck. We just fucking suck. So having to add something to the production pipeline in the hopes that people will then... But then I'm told, oh, no, people will just give you money just to support you. And it's like, well, that's... No. My business model is selling role-playing games, not taking pure charity from people. And I understand that there are hundreds of people that buy everything. I know, because I take and process and ship the orders myself from the EU web store anyway. And so I know this. But sometimes with the cost involved with some of the books, it feels like I'm soaking them enough. Like in 2020, we did a couple of fancy slipcases for a couple of the releases, and really uppriced, and this was like a collector's kind of, and people paid. To the point for all the releases last year, 2021, I was thinking, well, if that works, let's do slipcases for all the books and get all the money. And it's like, well, no. Because if you do it all the time, it's not special. It's not a collector's item. It's just flooding the market with shiny junk. So we had the box set for Terror in the Streets, and that was the big item, but even that pricing was based on the costs, mainly on, we got jacked on the box cost. That's why that thing's so expensive. The idea is to give people products that they feel are worth their money. Not to say, okay, I hooked them, now I'm going to extract everything I can. So, no. So there's a Patreon where I expect people to pay me for nothing. Not doing that. Then there's crowdfunding, because we do have a couple of releases that are ready to go. They just need art. But things are going, month to month, where putting 5 figures of art, taking 5 figures, 10,000 or more euros, and saying, okay, artist, here you go. Hopefully have this done in 6 months or whatever. That's real fucking difficult. So people suggest crowdfunding. And anyone that knows Lamentations of the Flame Princess knows that's a bad idea. Very bad idea. The conscientiousness, the scheduling thing, we've got some stuff out there it's a little bit late on crowdfunding, so let's not do that again. Yeah. when we yeah. I won't say this because then I always miss the deadlines. So, okay, maybe don't promise anything that I think will happen. If it happens, it'll be a nice surprise and I can show people. Anyway. So no crowdfunding. Then I had some advice, which would be good advice, I guess, if this were a big corporation and I was the head CEO and, when work was over, I went home to a completely separate space and did other things. Making LOTFP the lifestyle brand. And having products, basically merch, that would accentuate the lifestyle brand of Lamentations of the Flame Princess. And even before receiving that advice, I was moving away from that. I think last year was the first year we hadn't produced a new t-shirt in a decade, maybe? Between takes 1 and 2, maybe I should have checked that out, but something like that. Just decided, if we have a fan base that's steady, how many t-shirts do these people fucking need, right? So, coming up with things to clutter their house and their person more than that, just for the sake of doing it. I mean, if I had a great t-shirt idea, then I'd make the t-shirt. But if there's not a great idea, I'm not going to put something out just to put it out, just because revenue figures. I'm a horrible, horrible fucking businessman that way. Again, if I was going to be that business and money-minded, even LOTFP at its height of popularity and profitability, there's so many other things you can do that are more profitable, less stressful, and more stable than role-playing publishing. So that's not how I think of these things. I think of these things, oh, that's a great idea. How can we get this done? And then for almost 100 publications, we've managed to get it done. And things are, as I said, going fine. I just think things can be so much better than fine again. So, but when ideas I was like, well, you're really into the metal stuff. How about patches? How about when you release a book, also release a patch? Because metalheads like the patches to go on. And it's like, okay, I have to be careful how I say this next bit. Because I know there's a couple people on the LOTFP Facebook group that have made back patches out of t-shirts. And that's something they decided to do on their own for their own style. So I want to say that what I'm about to say isn't a criticism of what you yourself decided for yourself. And I am the absolute last person on earth that anybody should take fashion critiques from. So, you do you. Really. But I'm thinking more about those yellow-spined Swedes who I saw wearing like a uniform, like they were all wearing the same uniform with the vest, with their role-playing patches next to the metal band patches. And it was just... By turning that into a work uniform, they turned the metal vest into the same thing as a McDonald's paper hat. It really gave off, ooh, Cold Lake is the best Celtic Frost album energy. I looked at them and I imagined that they must have thought that Metallica became very relatable once they cut their hair. And I know that's probably unfair, I didn't talk to any of them, but just the idea that this was like a uniform, this was the presentation, it was all very plastic and artificial, so I am fucking definitely not going to produce as a matter of course Lamentations of the Flame Princess patches to put on your metal vest. That's yeah, it's weird. I'm in the role-playing industry, and I have a very significant let's experiment and let's just try stuff. But start talking to me about metal, and I get very defensive and particular and fuck you, poser, kind of shit. It's priorities, right? So, yeah. So, if I'm not going to get good with the community, if just keeping on producing quality work isn't enough, if I'm not going to merch people out their asshole, what next? What do? Well, you're looking at it, sort of. The YouTube channel here. The best way to make an end run around the gatekeepers of the industry is to publicize yourself in a forum where the gatekeepers have no say. Hopefully the YouTube board doesn't have any recent role-playing industry people in it, let's put it that way. But that's what this channel is going to be, because even in 2019, the spring of 2019, when everything was fresh and raw and painful and just coming down like big globs of shit, where I became the second most hated person in the role-playing industry. I thought that maybe this isn't something that would just blow over, so it was at that time that I invested. The big investment for this was the fancy-ass camera I'm looking into now. Because YouTube, any fucking random thing can get popular on YouTube, right? Sorta, kinda. And there are a lot of role-playing type videos and media on there that get tons and tons of views, so there is an open audience there. Whether I'll appeal to them, doubtful, but can I appeal to some of them? Yes. That's one thing I'm very good at, appealing very much to a few people. We just need to expand the pool of the people so the very few chunk gets bigger, right? That's the plan. And I've put up videos sporadically, and aside from the live streams, you'll notice that the videos have been skits and bits. They aren't informational, this is this product in this book, and this is why it will be good for your game, because I can't stand watching that shit. And I sure as hell am not going to try to produce it asking you to watch shit like that. I mean, I'm sure we'll do stuff like that out of duty once the channel really gets going and suddenly, oh, we need a video this week. Well, let me talk about this book. You should skip those videos. But then I might just put a bit at the end, so then you gotta watch it so you can see the cringe humor, punchline. But yeah, the idea, I finally, and the reason I'm saying this now and talking about this now, is I finally found a collaborator to work with on the videos. Because the one thing I didn't want to do, I mean, this is just me as a person talking to you. So yeah, it's going to be me on camera. I can't have someone else doing this. But as far as doing a YouTube channel, I didn't want it to just be more me. This already has my stink and energy all over the whole Lamentations of the Flame Princess Enterprise, right? It's like all of the projects are projects that I approved and selected. All the imagery, and I do so much of the art direction on a lot of the books. So a lot of this is already dripping in my energy. So I wanted it's sort of like, I don't like being alone at conventions. I like someone else, preferably of a different demographic category than I am, to project a different energy. Not to replace me, but to complement me, because this should be more than one thing. It shouldn't be, do you like aging, graying old metalheads that don't give a fuck? Well then, if that's you, and only if that's, that's no way to run a business, and the stuff we do is of all different flavors. The fact that anybody likes and collects and plays everything we do is blows my mind. I expected that there'd be people that like this but not that, and then like this and not that, that everybody would like a different corner of Lamentations. Not that people coming in are gonna like everything. That's not even the mission statement. So, but I finally found someone to work with after 3 years to do regular videos and to collaborate with. So it's their ideas, them refusing some of my ideas, liking others, having their own, and really getting a different sort of energy going. And 3 weeks ago, we filmed, I think it was 11 or 12 different videos. Took a whole weekend to do it. Shorter things. They aren't all going to be these rambling nightmares. Scripted, or at least outlined and then improv within that. They're all in editing right now. So those should be coming out starting hopefully very soon. I think we've got another shoot weekend scheduled for, soon enough, I hope. I, again, don't want to throw out dates in case something changes and then I have another thing. People are like, oh, where's the thing? Eventually, okay? It's all eventually. So, yeah, and because, just setting the camera up and just talking to it, that's easy. I'm looking at the big monitor I have here. I know you probably noticed I'm looking at the smaller view screen instead of at you a lot, but I've had this equipment, but I have this thing where I don't want to pull all this shit out with the lights and everything and just do test shots. It's like, if I have all this shit out, the intention has to be that it is going to be released. Even though I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with this equipment, and I haven't gotten that much practice with it, because most everything we've shot, we've posted, so it's half a dozen uses of this expensive fucking camera in 3 years. So this is going to be a learning on the job, and I've got someone that works professionally doing video editing and such, and he didn't use these words, but I got the message loud and clear that what we've shot is amateur bullshit. And so it is going to be a learning exercise, but already I think that this, some of the other equipment I've gotten since then, will help things be a little better next time, and what the channel and what the videos are primarily going to be. Yes, I'm finally getting around to that. They're going to be bits, like little skits, scripted or improv within an outline, related to Lamentations of the Flame Princess, but not a Lamentations of the Flame Princess hard sell. The mission statement is that hopefully people that have no interest in ever playing a role-playing game, no interest in Lamentations of the Flame Princess, can watch these videos and get some amusement out of them, some entertainment out of them. And so the channel would be a related promotional vehicle, but not a hard sell promotional vehicle. That's what these collaborative videos are all about. And I say amusement is because I know that we're not experts in the equipment, that I thought that doing light-hearted stuff, sort of like the bits I've done, the last one, the naked video, the last naked video, I'm naked right now doing this, that was a bit. It used like a serious, real-world hook in the beginning to then pull you into the bit. And hopefully having outside editors and a collaborator hopefully tightens it up. Because you see, like here with me, when it's just me alone, shit ain't tight. Shit ain't tight at all. So little amusing LOTFP related skits that'll point to LOTFP without hard selling. And as we get more comfortable with the equipment and actually learn to use it properly, so everything's in focus and the green screen work is tight, and the teleprompter actually arrives, so we don't have to use weird edits to cover up the fact that nobody can remember a fucking line. As of right now, this channel, I think, is just a couple hundred people off from the line to where we can start monetizing the channel. Theoretically, because this is Lamentations, half the shit we're going to do is going to cause videos to be demonetized. But once we show that the videos are coming out on a regular basis, and once we get our groove as to what they should look like, and, have to listen to the audience a bit and the presentation, and, because again, I'm going outside the comfort zone doing this, so, the critique, I don't want to read the YouTube comments. Once we've established that we're doing a thing that has some sort of entertainment value in itself, and once we've shown that the production will improve, that this isn't just blah, then we start a Patreon for the videos, which would pay for more professional editing, pay for any additional equipment we need, help pay the talent coming in here, and then hopefully supplement my income to put into the books. And because a lot of YouTube people use Patreon to subsidize their videos, and so that's the thing. I would have a thing that I'd be providing for Patreon supporters. So that's getting a little ahead of myself. That's a little bit in the future, but this multimedia approach, if we do it right, and again, it might take a little bit of time to get the formula right. That first Death Frost Doom doesn't look anything like, say, Jesus, I can't pick a book. Death Frost Doom looks nothing like Strict Time Records Must Be Kept. So there's going to be an arc, and hopefully, finally, getting a strong promotional arm, in addition to the strong publishing arm, makes everything work better. So projects can come out quicker. People get paid more. I get paid more. You all get more varied stuff, because if we can open things up more, then other people that have backed off are more comfortable, working with us again if they think it's not the end of their fucking career. And yes, anybody that's run off previously, I will accept back, because I don't give a fuck about that shit. I care about the books. And, well, hopefully I'll be caring about the videos too. That's all I want to do. I just want to make shit. I want to make difficult shit, but I want the life around the material to be easier for me and for everyone. And I think this is a way to do it. I think this is something to at least try out for a bit, because a lot of people tell me, and it's flattering, that Lamentations of the Flame Princess, it got them back into role-playing, that it's the only role-playing company putting worthwhile stuff out, which I don't believe that for a second, but it's a nice sentiment. You know, we're the only people that do this or do that. That most importantly, we have a unique flavor, even across all these different authors with all their different beliefs and their different backgrounds. There's something about Lamentations of the Flame Princess that does what nobody else does. That I want to continue and grow, because as the person behind all this, as the person that, if I got any other job, I would probably be more stable and less stressed. But I want to do this because, of course, I believe in the fucking mission, or else I'd be doing something else. And I want more people that believe in that mission. And I don't want to keep releasing things into a void. I don't want to keep releasing things just for this set amount of preset people, which is roughly what's been happening the past couple years. I want everything to be better for everyone, because I think the greater RPG world benefits from people who have no limits creatively, that don't give a shit about the gatekeeping. Yeah, we're always going to be over in a corner of the role-playing world. We're never going to be in a position where it's our big logos you see walking into Gen Con with the wall, giant wall posters. But we can be big enough, we can be healthy enough as a company, and we can be profitable enough for everyone that works here. Everyone that works on a project, anyone that works on many projects. This is all possible, and what I've been doing the past couple years is sustainable, but it's not growing. So this is what I think is the best creatively, and to reach an audience, what I can do on my part to grow things. All you need to do, as a fan, as a customer, buy the books you want. Leave reviews wherever people let you leave reviews for books. I say talk about it. I know that's difficult in a lot of places, but if somebody's asking questions about a thing and something from Lamentations fits, suggest it. You're not my publicity arm, but realistically, word of mouth are how small companies survive. And I'm going to do everything I can to start conversations from the YouTube side. I'll do everything I can to release books that are worth talking about. That's all I can do. So yeah, we'll have a bunch of stuff coming soon, then more stuff after that on the publicity video end. We always have a ton of books that are in process, and we'll have a few new things for Gen Con, I think at this point is what the schedule is going to be. I still have a big pile of manuscripts that I haven't gotten back to the people that submitted them, because I'm slow and I'm shitty that way. And then the people that have asked for the writing guidelines that we're advertising in the Weird Crushers, you're all in a folder, and once I get through the current backlog of manuscripts, then I will send those out. So everything that's I think I'm done here. Yeah, not bad. The first take was done at 1:30 in the morning, and I talked for 50 minutes. Let's hope I didn't talk quite so long this time, but I think I caught more of the points I wanted to make. So anyone that's lasted this long, go the fuck outside.